Hello, we're back, and I have deleted three objects, well actually three FSMs. The door is still here. The trigger is still here, but I deleted its FSM. You don't see it over here at all, right? Just see the box collider, that is a trigger. I have also deleted the Go Quest Manager. We only have 2 managers now instead of 4, so I deleted the Go Quest Manager and the GUI Text Quest Steps. So we're going to set those 3 up. Right now, if I try to run it, I obviously will get some errors because it's missing some things, right? So I think the first thing I should set up is the Quest Manager, because that's going to let us run a few things. Well, that's the main brain of this, right? The Quest Manager. So in order to set that up, I'm just going to have to make an empty game object. Going to go to game object, create empty. There it is. And it doesn't matter where it's at. I'm just going to put it kind of here where I'm working. This can be, what you can do is, well, if you don't have Playmaker, you need to start Playmaker and then open up the Playmaker editor. I have it docked here. You can have it floating. I'm not really going to be using my game view until I fix it, so I'm going to go ahead and dock it in here. But obviously, it's always good if you actually are going to be running this. If you have this floating, it's a good idea because you can actually, well, if I can get it to float again, you can actually just move it over to the side, and as you're running your game, minimize it. As you're running your game, you can look at the FSMs, and you can actually see how they're functioning. You can visually debug it. But anyway, for now, I'm going to just hide the game view because we don't need that. So we have this game object. First thing, I guess I should rename this game object because let's rename it. It's going to be called geo underscore. I'm going to make sure I name it exactly like it was named before. So all the managers everyone knows, all the other FSMs know how to access it. Go Quest Manager. Yeah. Okay. Go Quest Manager. Does not have an FSM on it. You can see here. So we need to add an FSM to it. So if we right click in here, it says right here, right click to add FSM. Well, thanks a lot. So right click, add FSM. First FSM, and we have the start and the first state. So this first state is going to be called setup. Okay, this is where we're going to set our globals. And okay, before we can really do anything else, we need to add some events and some variables. I know we're going to have a finished event. That's going to actually be added by default. I can add, and you can add your custom events here. But first, I'm going to check the variables. Right now, there's no variables, and I know it needs to have. It's using 2 variables. It's using the quest stage and scrambler held. So we need to create those if they're not. And actually global variables. So if you don't see them here, well, that makes sense because it doesn't show you global variables. So instead of making a standard variable, which we could easily do here by typing in something and then click add. For instance, I can just put test variable. I can give it an init value, click add, and now we have a variable we can use. But for this, I'll do that later. Now global variables. Click here. Well, Scrambler Health obviously is already here because I didn't delete the other objects that are using it. But we need to make our quest stage. So first we just write the name. Quest stage. And then what type is it? Oh, I think it's going to be a integer. Stage 1, stage 2, right? I'm pretty sure it's an integer. I'm going to have to hope I get it right. If not, I have to quest stage. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. It's an integer. Okay? And we click add. So now we have. And you can see here it's 0 because I haven't used it yet. But we will. So we can close that, and it's going to remember that we have a new variable there. Okay? we have a lot of events. Well, first one's going to be finished. But you know what? That's a kind of a built-in one. If I go here and add transition finished, it's going to be right here. It's going to give us an error because it doesn't know what to do with that yet. But if we go over to events, you can see that that adds it. So obviously, built-in events are get added to the list. But I need a couple. I needed more than a couple. I needed quite a few custom events. So I'm going to just adding them here. First one's going to be update counter. Update counter. I can just add that. Actually, I made a mistake here. I think I spelled it wrong. Oh, there's actually one already here called update counter. So some of these are already here. Yours probably won't be, so you're going to have to actually do it by scratch. It realized that some of these are already here, so it let me add that. It automatically checked it as global. But if you're doing this from scratch, you're not going to see that list. You're going to write it for the first time. First time you write it, it's going to just add it to the list and then check it as global. And then if you write it again on another in another FSM, it's going to give you the option to use that. So let's keep going. Advanced 2.2 is the next event I want to actually make. So now this is not a global one used by anything else, so we shouldn't get that list. Advanced 2.2, and I guess I hit enter. Yeah, I think I might have hit the event browser before. Yeah, instead of I hit the event browser, which lets you browse and see if you have events that you need to use. And actually, I do have a couple. I'm going to come back to that to save time. So we have advanced to 2, okay? We have another one, advanced to 3. We start at 1, so we don't have to advance to 1 because we start at 1. Advance to 3. Hit enter, and now we have that. Now we have advanced quest, descrambler collected, and remove counter. 3 more events to add. And let's see if I try to add it in the list. Make sure I did that right last time. Advanced, and it's called advanced underscore quest. Now, if I try to add this, let's see. I know it already exists as a global event. Let's double check my spelling here. Yeah, if it's there already, it go ahead and checks it as a global event. That's very nice. So in that case, I'm going to write all these. Well, actually, no. You know how to write them. You know how to enter. I'm going to save time. Once you write them, you can go to the event browser and pick them from here. We're also going to be using the scrambler collected, and we're also going to be using remove counter. Once again, if you write these, when you write these for the first time, they will not be in your list. But once you write them once, you can easily add them to your FSM by going to the event browser. That's very handy. So next thing we need to do, set up our setup. What does this do? This sets the global variables scramblers held to 1. Well, let's go to its state here. So what do I need? I need to set init value. Now, where do I get that? Well, from the action browser. So I can go here, and I don't have to search. I don't have to browse in here. If I know which one kind I need, I can just type it up here. Set init value. Yeah, keep going. Set integer. I think it's integer. Set integer value, and there it is. By the way, it even tells us how many times we're using it in our overall scene, which is kind of nice. So click here, and okay. So we have the set init value action. Now we need to actually give it a variable here. You see this? So we know we have these variables set up. Yeah, it's a global variable. That's right. So we know we have a global variable set up. If I go here, go to globals, and it's quest. No, it's actually scrambler held. Okay. So what it does is it sets the integer value to 0 for the scrambler held. So when we start the game, system knows we don't have the descrambler. It should be called descrambler, but it's called scrambler here. Sorry. So we already have a finished event. That's why we're getting this little caution, because the finished event is not going out to anything. So we need to set up another one here at a new state. This state is going to be the listener. So let's just name it listener. Okay. Now, this one's going to have two events. It's going to have descrambler collected and advanced quest. So we have advanced quest and descrambler collected. Yeah. So what we need to do is now set up the action. And these are actually global. So that's all we need to do. They don't actually have any actions that are happening in the state. They wait for global events that are waiting for calls from the scrambler trigger and the trigger update quest. So now we need to do the scrambler collect it, take care of this one, and take care of the advanced quest. So let's do the advanced quest first, and let's make another state, and we're going to call this state advanced quest. And this is going to have two events, advanced to 2 and advanced to 3. Okay, so let's link these up so we can get rid of this little caution mark. So this is finished. After the finish, click and drag. What's going to happen? We're going to come to the listener. Oops. Okay, I'm going to put it on that side. Yeah. Okay, now after the advanced quest, what's going to happen? We're going to go down here to advanced quest. Okay, so we just have a setup. Set the integer value, then we're just listening to 2 calls. And when we get, I guess I can make the other, I can make the other at this state here. And this is going to be, well, you guessed it, what's going to be? It's going to be called descrambler collected. Ooh. And we got the C, and I guess it's one word. Doesn't exist. I made it up, but good enough. Okay, so, and this is going to go out to the scrambler collected. Now, first let's do these advanced. What should it do to advance the quest? Well, first one is, in this advanced quest state, what we're going to do, we're going to add an integer to the quest stage. We're going to update that, and then we're going to check it and figure out which stage we're at. Okay? So, first thing we need to do is make sure we need an action in here, and it's going to be integer add. There we go. And we need to, we're going to be using a global variable here, quest stage, and we're going to add 1 to this. And now we're going to use go down here to action browser, int switch is how you can actually compare them. switch. Okay, now, what variable, or it's going to be the same variable, or stage, global variable, and we're going to check and see if it's 2. Because remember, it started at 1, so we're going to add. When we add to it, it's going to be 2. So the first time it's going to be 2. And it's going to be 2 next time around, it's going to be 3. So when it's 2, well, what does it mean? We need to send out an event. And this is going to be advanced to 2. Okay, that's down here. Check that out right there. And then when it's 3, it's going to be advanced to 3. So now we have this set up. Knows what to do when it comes into here. Now, let's set up the advanced to 2. Add a state. Call it advanced to 2. Event stage 2. Let's call it event stage 2. And in this one, we're going to send out an advanced quest stage event to GUI text quest steps and update the counter event to GUI text quest counter. Okay, so we need to update our GUI text to let us know, give the player feedback. Okay, and we know where this is going to go. This is going to go here. We just have to set this up. Now, this is going to be 2 send events, right? Because we need to send out those actions, or those events. Send event. Yeah, I can do it all at once. Click it twice, I get 2. Now, what's the game object? So we need in the game object where the GUIs are, right? And those are the GUI game objects. And you can see here, game object, I'm going to call it a game object. And game object, the owner of that, I need to specify the game object. Okay, and here it is. So the target, let's go here, and GUI text quest steps. Oops, actually, you know, that one's not built yet, so we can't do that one. Okay, this is not built yet. I'm going to do that next. But the next one should be built, the counter. So here we're going to send out to the counter. So we don't want it. We want it to be a game object. We want to specify the game object, and now we can actually just, if we are careful, we can grab this and drag this into this box. We can also go here and look for it in our scene. Okay. So when this event happens, we want to update the counter. And that's a global event that's here. You can see here, update counter. Okay, we made that before. Update the counter. And that's all we can set up. I can't set this one up yet because it's not working, or it's not there. I need to set a finished here, okay? Because when it's finished doing these things, it needs to come out of here and finish. So if I just add transition, finish, and now that's going to be the finished transition. And from here, we go back up to the listener. So it's straightforward. Come on. We go back up to the listener. Okay? So we're going to get an error until we get that GUI text quest manager set up. Okay, so we have this. Yeah. Now we need to do advanced to stage 3. Add state. This is going to be advanced to stage 3. Well, actually, event stage 3. And this is going to come out and go here. Now we need to set this up. Stage 3. Stage 3 sends advanced quest stage event to GUI text quest steps. We can put the send event here, but we don't have the other one set yet. So we're going to have to remember to come back here and set this up. Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure that I do that next. Okay. So hopefully I won't forget to come back and set this up correctly. Of course, when this finishes, at a transition finish, this is also going to go back up to the listener. Now let's do the descrambler. We shouldn't have a problem with this one. So once again, if the listener gets a call from the trigger, the descrambler trigger, it's going to go here to descrambler. We're going to add the integer to the descrambler held 1, so everyone knows that we've picked up the descrambler. And then we are going to send out a message to the GUI text quest counter, which is to update the counter. Okay, so we have an integer add and a send event. You know what? I could probably save some time. You know, you can actually copy these. I think I can do 2 at a time. I can actually do copy, select actors, go here, paste them, paste actions. Now, of course, I have to fix them up because they're completely wrong. This is going to be scrambler held. Okay, and this is going to be, this is wrong. I need the send event here, sorry. So I'll just do it from here. Could have copied it too, but okay, and this is going to be a game object. Let's actually specify the owner. Now, remember, you can actually send events on the same object too to another FSM. In this case, it's going to be game object. What game object? GUI text quest counter. We do have that. So I'm going to drag this here. Once again, I could easily browse for it here and type here. If I type GUI, there's only 2. I could easily got it here, right? Okay. Now what event do we want to do? Well, we want to update the counter. So, update the counter. Now if we don't see it in this list, that would mean that we'd have to create it. Well, it's there because we created it already. And that's and it's a global, so it gives us the option to send between one event and the other event. Okay, so then when it finishes, at a finish event, so it's going to go in here and do this, it's going to finish, and it's going to go up here back to the listener. Okay, so that's all we can do for this.